Hey, I'm Brian Whitmore from the RFE-RL Central Newsroom, Madam Foreign Minister. Thank you for being with us today. I'd like to start with a rather broad question. Tbilisi's long sought to internationalize the frozen conflicts in Abkhazia and South Ossetia, and now, ironically, this has happened. It's happened at great cost, and at the same time, Russia's dug in ever deeper. So, moving forward under these conditions, how does Tbilisi see a way to bring these regions back?
Well, first of all, we do have an understanding that it will not be an easy process in any ways. But at the same time, it's a process with which we have to be very constructive and serious about, because it's not just a matter of how the state of Georgia is arranged. It's the matter of the fact which concerns a lot of people, hundreds of thousands of them, who had been expelled from their homes. And we speak about the solution to the conflict. We speak basically how the lives of these people will be arranged. They do want to go to their homes, to rearrange their lives, and to have a secure and dignified conditions with which they will live. And that's the top priority for us.
Given Russia, the fact that Russia's really digging in, how can you move that forward?
Well, it needs to be a coordinated effort of international community with which we have a confidence that we will be successful if that will be the case, because other than that, Russia, out of the free will, so far does not show any intent to be constructive in bringing positive changes to the situation. Vice versa, Russia continues to be very, very dangerous in its actions on the ground. Security is more or less arranged on the ground, but then still, it's pretty much fragile.
Is there a risk that armed conflict could break out again?
Well, I think that Russia has a clear intent not to allow situation to stabilize in a proper way. Russia tries to maintain this open platform with which the small degree, or perhaps the large degree of provocations can be arranged from the side of Russia. When you look from an analytical standpoint, the aims that Russia had while invading Georgia are not served at all. There is no government change of Georgia. There is no reorientation of Georgia from west to Russia, and there is no closed door to NATO or EU for Georgia. So in that sense, Russia is pretty much in a loose game in that sense. All it achieved, it's disastrous, isolated recognition of South Ossetia and Abkhazia. That's not something that Russia was seeking for in this case.
There's some speculation that Russia might move the Black Sea Fleet from Sevastopol to Amchacheria. Assuming this is something Tbilisi doesn't want to happen, what if anything can you do to prevent this if Russia does decide it wants to move that fleet?
I don't think personally that Russia will be so willing to move this fleet from Ukraine. It just makes an appearance of doing so, because the whole issue about Crimea and Ukraine is very much serious for Russia. And then the fear is that Russia will be very much active now in Ukraine in changing the whole politics in Ukraine, in such a sense that Ukraine becomes again dependent on Russia rather than being aspiring to be part of the Western communities. And in Crimea, again, this information that we have is very much troubling and disturbing. The same pattern that has been used in Georgia, in a sense, that distributing Russian passports to the people who reside in this region, so that they have the same, perhaps in the future, if there is necessity, the pretext as they've used in Georgia.
Thank you very much, Madam Foreign Minister.
Thank you.